10 amazing bonds between humans and animals. The bond between animals and humans has always been a strong one. From the horses used in the Industrial Revolution to the wolves our prehistoric ancestors made as companions. In today's video, we will share with you 10 stories that show how truly amazing the bond between animal and human truly is. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way, you will never miss one of our unbelievable animal fact videos. 10. Dimdim the penguin. In March 2011, 71-year-old retired bricklayer João Pereira de Souza was walking along the beach when he found a penguin covered in oil and struggling to survive. He brought the penguin home, cleaned him up, and gave him a feast of sardines. He named the little critter Dimdim. After his act of kindness, João tried to do what was right and release the penguin back into the wild. Dimdim, however, had other plans. João brought him back out to the open waters, but as he returned home, Dimdim decided to follow. Though the penguin goes out to sea for months on end, he always returns back to João to spend time with him. In fact, the duo spends about 8 months out of the year together, strolling on the beach and swimming. Dimdim follows his friend everywhere he goes and has even become the village mascot. 9. Snowflake the duck. A lot of kids go to the park to see the ducks, but 5-year-old Kylie Brown takes her duck, Snowflake, to the park. Snowflake was raised by Kylie when he was just a chick and has since imprinted on the girl. Originally, Kylie's parents planned on keeping the duck in the backyard, but soon realized that Snowflake preferred being indoors with his new friend. In fact, Snowflake now wears diapers so he can stay inside as a house duck. The two are inseparable and even go to the beach together in the summer and sledging in the winter. He's been to soccer practice, gone on sleepovers, and even trick-or-treating. At the park, the duck swims around the pond and then returns when it is time to go home. 8. Gabi and the crows. You might have heard of cats bringing rodents home as presents, but how about crows? One girl has been getting shiny trinkets brought back to her by crows after she began feeding them at her home. Since the trades have begun, Gabi Man from Seattle has received hundreds of beads, buttons, medals, and plastics. It all began in 2011 when Gabi was only 4 years old. She would often accidentally drop food, and the crows were only too pleased to pick up the scraps. Gabi began to intentionally feed them the day she started school, giving them lunch she didn't manage to eat that day. After a while, a line of crows started to form when the school bus pulled up, many of which holding little objects they had collected for her. 7. Christian the lion. In 1969, Ace Berg and John Rendell purchased a 35-pound lion cub from the Harrods department store. The two raised Christian the lion in their London home, but after a year, he had grown too big to keep. Rendell and Berg knew they couldn't keep him, but didn't know what to do. Luckily, they met a conservationist named George Adamson. With his help, Christian was relocated to Africa, where he was rehabilitated and released into the wild. After a few years had passed, Berg and Rendell decided to go to Africa to visit their friend. They were told their odds of finding him were slim, and the chances of him recognizing them were even slimmer. Shortly after they arrived, however, Christian appeared outside the camp and instantly remembered the two men that raised him. The beautiful moment was caught on film and shown that the love he had for the two men was still strong. 6. Damian Aspinall. In 2014, English conservationist Damian Aspinall was filmed reuniting with the gorilla he helped raise when it was a baby. His organization, the Aspinall Foundation, is dedicated to breeding and returning gorillas back to the wild. On one occasion, Damian wanted to see how Quibi, one of the gorillas he released 5 years prior, was getting on in the wild. At first, Aspinall wasn't sure if the gorilla would even remember him, but he most certainly did. He soon discovered that Quibi had since begun his own family and was keen to show them his old friend. Another gorilla he had an inseparable bond with was his lifelong friend, Baby Doll. The two had grown up together after Damian's father saved the gorilla from captivity and took care of her at the Howlett's Wild Animal Park. Though she was too old to be introduced to the wild, she went on to have 7 children that were all given a chance to live among their own kind, just like Quibi. At 57, Baby Doll had become Britain's oldest gorilla. Sadly, her age took its toll, and she found herself at the end of her life. Damian was at her side while she gently passed away. The final heartbreaking moment of the inseparable pair was caught on film, as Damian fed the elderly gorilla with a syringe and stroked her fur. 5. Dog who saved his owner's life. Eric O'Grey once weighed 340 pounds and suffered from high blood pressure, cholesterol, and type 2 diabetes. A nutritionist suggested that he should adopt a dog for the company because it would make him more active. So, taking the advice, Eric took a trip to the Humane Society in Silicon Valley and told staff that he wanted an obese, middle-aged dog so they had something in common. That day, he went home with Petey, a dog that eventually improved his health, ability to socialize, and overall well-being. With Petey's help, Eric lost nearly 140 pounds. Petey also lost about 25 pounds, and his demeanor changed drastically, becoming confident and happy. Petey encouraged Eric to complete his first marathon in the summer of 2015, but sadly soon after, Petey was diagnosed with cancer and passed away. Eric has since rescued another dog, but credits Petey for saving his life. Eric said that rescuing and taking care of Petey was the best thing he ever did. 4. Loula the therapy cat. Loula, the therapy cat, was brought home to be a companion for Iris, who is a 6-year-old girl who has autism. Around Loula, Iris instantly began relaxing as the cat started to adapt to the personality of her new companion. If Iris became impatient in the car, Loula would sit on her lap to calm her down. If she had difficulty during the day or woke up at night, Loula would distract her until she had settled again. Loula also studied Iris's movements as she played or painted, mimicking them, and in turn, encouraging Iris to continue. Not long after Loula's arrival, Iris began to speak to her. She began training her little feline with commands such as sit and follow. Now the two are the best of friends who love nothing more than to be with each other. 3. Chum Brown the python. A Cambodian boy, Uorn Sembat, has an unlikely best friend, a python named Chum Brown. Chum Brown is 16 feet long and weighs over 220 pounds. The snake slithered into the lives of Sembat's family when Uorn was only 3 months old. Despite the snake's size, Uorn's parents are not worried at all about his attachment to the reptile. In fact, they believe that Chum Brown brings good luck. However, Chum Brown does eat a whopping 22 pounds of chicken every week, which has put a financial strain on the family in recent months, resulting in the python being relocated to a rescue organization. Fortunately, Uorn still visits his old friend regularly and even brings a chicken or two. 2. Rambo the alligator. Mary Thorne once adopted Rambo the alligator. Since then, the reptile has learned to understand sign language and ride on a quad bike. The two had become quite the duo, but in 2016, Mary was given some heartbreaking news. Because of Rambo's size, she was instructed to find at least 2.5 acres of open land for the alligator to roam, or else he would have to be moved to a sanctuary. Fortunately for Mary, she won an appeal, and Rambo got to stay at their family home in Florida, taking silly photos and dressing up in all kinds of crazy outfits. 1. Flipo the Dolphin. Flipo was a dolphin who lived in the waters off Manfredonia, southeast Italy, who had been separated from its school. The friendly bottlenose dolphin became a hero back in the year 2000 for saving teenager Davide Cecchi, who fell from a tourist boat and began sinking beneath the waves. Flipo saw the boy and rushed to his rescue, pushing him back to the surface so his father could pull him back on the boat. This isn't the first time dolphins have been credited for saving a human life. For instance, in 2004, a pod of dolphins managed to circle a surfer for 30 minutes to ward off a group of aggressive great white sharks. So that concludes our list of heartwarming animal and human connection stories. Have you ever saved your companion's life? Or was it that they saved yours somehow? We would love to read your stories in the comments section below. Like us, I'm sure many of you can relate to having an impenetrable bond with the animals in your home. Because of this, we know you want to see them fit and healthy. In the description box below, you will find links to our partner sites who provide a whole array of fantastic products and guides to give your companions the treatment they deserve. If you would like to see more interesting animal videos like this one, be sure to check out our other videos, and don't forget to hit the subscribe and notification buttons so you never miss a future upload.